and it's like, well, shit happened, and I just need to be better than that. So, yeah, we're gonna start rebuilding that sub count. The road back to 500. We're only 212 subs away. What is 212 subscribers? You know, we got 106 people in here already. I'm sure, by the time this first game's done, you realize that this is the best stream on earth. That you guys are gonna, half of you guys will subscribe. And then we're only like 150 subs away. Pff, easy, easy. Let's got some StarCraft 2, guys. To the bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg player here from Jin Air Green Wings, representing the 94 fam in this Team League event. It is Rogue. As to the top right-hand side, the blue Zerg player is Dark, and he comes from the team Solenders and Bugs, which is Stats, Dark, and Solar. Rogue's team is made up of Rogue, TY, and Dia. It's a pretty all-star kind of team. So, yeah, let's see what happens here. This is obviously all from replays, guys. This was all played before I went to even TwitchCon. This has been done for a week and a half, 2 weeks or so. It's just one of those things where, realistically, again, I just couldn't do them before. I couldn't cast these games before I went, and it's a good little something for us to cast now that we are back at home. So, it's a good little something for us to cast for a while. And, yeah, excited to see how we go, as we do see a couple of overlords coming across the map from Rogue and from Dark. Getting ourselves set up into this, so we'll see a Hatch, Gas, and Pool coming in from our Blue Zerg players. So Dark going Hatch, Gas, and Pool. Rogue did open Pool first, a Gas Pool into a Hatchery. So, while that's not overly aggressive in terms of the long run, he's definitely getting a Hatchery. There is some opportunities here where you can get some extra Zerglings earlier in the game. He did start Queen, so he's not spamming out 6 Zerglings and looking for a lot of damage. And so if anything here, Rogue is most likely looking for something of, like a Ling Flood or some heavy Ling Bane pressure early on. Dark will just be set up defensively. A couple more drones on his side. Let's see how that does work out with Rogue starting to move out onto the map. His first 2 Zerglings moving out into the center here. And again, just a couple Queens coming up on either side. Evolution Chamber from Rogue will start in the back of this main base. So he's just going to go straight in towards it. I mean, that's kind of cool. He's going to go for like a Carapace. Well, actually, I mean, it's kind of a late Evo Chamber for like a Carapace upgrade. I mean, you'd be able to afford Carapace right now, so this being late means it wouldn't line up with Ling Speed as well as it might usually do. So I wonder if Rogue was just a bit slow on that, or what exactly is happening here. As we do have Overlords from both players, again, just setting themselves up, looking for information and vision over the early stages of this. As we do have 2 Lings just moving forwards and a Baneling Nest dropping down to the natural expansion. Okay, well, it is just Carapace in the end from Rogue. And now he will get that Ling Speed started as well. I guess with the way that he did it, he did pull out of gas a little bit. And so by pulling out of gas a little bit, he did enable himself to kind of, with the late Evo Chamber, it's still going to line up kind of correctly. Just a bit of an interesting way of doing it. Not quite the completely normal way, where usually you just stay in gas completely. The Evo Chamber's a bit earlier. And it's just an interesting little way of approaching this. So Rogue generally will play a Ling heavy style here early. But of course from there, he will be able to go into Roaches as well, and one of the most powerful things you can do off of this kind of Carapace opener is play Ling Roach all lanes or heavy Ling Roach pressures where you really try and get some damage done with that kind of Ling Roach composition. Both the Lings and the Roaches are affected by the Carapace, and so you actually have 2 very strong units with that early upgrade in play. You get a missile upgrade as well, and those Roaches, they're still kind of supported by the Lings, and that goes a huge distance. They can change things up, but with a Baneling Nest down, Dark shouldn't have too much issue overall. We actually see Rogue cancel the Roach Roaring to build his own Baneling Nest here. 8 Lings on the way up, and we're only, 20-ish seconds away from seeing these upgrades starting to kick in, and to really show us what they're going to be used for is Lings at the front, pushed away by a Queen or 2, both Queens there getting that Zergling once again. As it gets up into the natural, sees the Bane Nest, sees the Evo Chamber not upgrading on the high ground, but you also saw the lack of Ling Speed, and at some point soon, well, I mean, you see a Baneling Nest, you know that that Ling Speed is going to be on the way at least, so you have to, expect this to some extent as Dark. There's Rogue with 16 more Lings on the way up. He's playing this game from 12 workers behind, and so he better be hoping that this attack gets some damage. Dark has a couple of Banes to use defensively here. Now remember, the Banes will not one-shot Zerglings once that Carapace upgrade is in play, but they will still weaken them up quite heavily. So it's still important not to let the Banes go off on all the Lings, because suddenly they're one-shotable by your opponent's Lings. Dark for now just going into +1 missiles. There's that Roach Roaring, and it looks as though he'll try and go up into the Roach style of play here to be able to transition into a very sturdy mid-game with those Roaches on his side. But for Rogue, well, there's 10 Banelings morphing in, and that should be a great indicator as just to what's about to happen now. Here we go, the first couple of Banes starting to come up this ramp, and here's the rest of them as well. One Bane goes off. Doesn't really do much just yet. Another Baneling. Could have maybe got off there and gotten a lot of these Banes low. More Banes morphing in from Rogue, who kills a couple of drones so far. Big connection. 2 Banes for 6 or 7 even. And that's actually a huge defense by Rogue right now. By Dark right now, sorry. As Rogue, I mean, that's a big mistake. Losing those Banelings to just 2 Banes of his opponent. Big help for Dark there. He still is in some trouble over here. 2 more Banes of Rogue just wander in towards these eggs, and that's also not effective. Doesn't really achieve anything. As these 2 Banes finish up, they're going to be denied by Queens from doing any damage at all. And Dark has absolutely shut down this attack. And you got to remember here, I mean, Dark has went into this attack in a position where he was massively ahead in workers. He was up 10 workers in this game. So Dark was in a very strong position to get started. And well, there's another couple of Banes blowing up right there. We're just going to be seeing Banes from both players running around to see what else will happen. But in general, it's definitely all about Dark. In this game number 1, I mean, Rogue, he was super committed to this attack, and he found absolutely nothing with it at all. As we are going to be seeing Lings just going to keep on fighting, and, well, to the top side, a few more Roaches, Banes, and Lings. These are continuing to come in right now as well from Dark here. So just continuing to get this set up to the top side. I mean, with the Roaches coming out especially, it's just that extra little something to help you with the defense. He's even droning right now, so feeling very, very confident with his current position. As we see Lings trying to run in for us around on the Roaches, but a Baneling or 2 there to help. We'll just keep those very sturdy despite the fairly low Roach numbers, which means they could be surrounded quite easily. Roaches, well, now they have a couple of Banes to worry about as well. And the splash damage is there, and they will get surrounded here, definitely. But again, I mean, you see these Lings just coming in from the right-hand side, more Roaches as well. And Dark is just going to start cleaning this up. A few more Lings, okay. I mean, starting to look like there's some potential for damage here. The drone split's pretty good as well, though. And 10 more Roaches on the way out. Can Rogue break this? You gotta really feel like no, and even if he does, I mean, he's gotta kill 24 workers to even out this game. Never mind anything else. Queens are defending the natural expansion as well. Walled off there as a couple more Roaches start to come out, and, well, again, I mean, you kill the third hatch, you killed 5 drones, you're still 21 behind, so you need more than what's found so far. Now these Roaches and Queens are actually stacking up quite nicely at the front, stopping the Lings from getting in too easily. That Evo Chamber didn't go down, which means the Lings will surround the Roaches and the Queen here. One of the Queens out of the 2 now falling down. Some drones hold position to try and help mess up with the AI of the Zerglings. And slowly but surely, the Roach attacks are showing to be enough against those Lings and slowly picking their way through this. One more Roach on the third base will be picked away at, but, I mean, you know, Rogue is trying to play a melee upgrade against a +2 missile Roach player. In the long run, this just doesn't work. Kill a third hatchery, and that is nice, don't get me wrong. You're not even using your own third hatchery to mine from. You're using your own third hatchery because you're playing a heavier kind of lava kind of style gameplay plan right now, where you need more lava to produce Lings to compare with Roaches. So, Dark, while he's taking a couple of losses, I'm still feeling fairly good about his position. I still feel he's doing okay. He's about to get Roach speed, which means that counterattacks are obviously going to become very powerful very soon. And he's also getting to this stage now where, you know, the upgrades are really starting to kick in. You know, Roach speed +2, +1. But the Roach numbers are also there. And so surrounding this Roach army is nowhere near as effective as when it was just 3 or 4 Roaches. Now these Roaches are really going to have something to say about any number of Zerglings coming in for a bit of surround. And I just don't see a way that Rogue does enough damage against this army to shut it down, as it should just be getting ready to go across the map. Another big swell of Lings from Rogue. He's still down in the worker count. I guess he's just very eager to make sure he has enough to maybe deny this base again. I mean, it's a bit of a gambit, but it's probably one of his best possible plays, where if he can maybe keep Dark on 2 bases long enough, maybe then the lack of mining in the main, the lack of mining in the natural as minerals mine out, maybe that starts to become more effective here, or more of an issue. And maybe that's why he makes more Zerglings right now, as that third hatchery does start to come back down once again. More Roaches continuing to just gather together between the natural and the third base. A few of these Lings have run away to morph into Banelings. That's 24, 25 Banelings currently. 27 Banelings! Oh my gosh, 27 Banelings currently morphing in here. So, a lot of Banelings getting ready to go. This melee upgrade is about to finish. And here we go, the Bane's starting to run in towards the upper right-hand side. Roaches are set up and ready to defend. Here we go, a few of them moving forwards. Couple of Banes coming in as well, and they are going to see, well, go to the right side. Oh my god, look at that clump they found. Great patience by Dark with those couple of Banes, waiting for the perfect moment. With Banes to support the Roaches, there's just never a way these Lings are going to win a fight. And, you know, against the Roaches, it's like, well, maybe if there's enough. But with Banes as well, Rogue is just never going to keep enough Lings alive and to actually be able to surround long enough to do any real damage. And that third hatchery is coming back up, and so the one thing which Rogue did get himself in this game, which was ahead on a base, is now about to be taken away from him all over again. Ling's going to try and run up on this left-hand side. Roaches already set up in position here. Lings are surrounding those Roaches. Starting to take quite a bit of damage. More Roaches coming in, pushing up through the top side. A couple of Ravagers starting to morph in there as well from Dark. Blair, about halfway done now, currently back on the main base of Rogue, who's also going to throw down a Roach Roar, and a couple of Queens here from Rogue. Starting to attack that Overseer of Dark as well, so this Overseer getting a little bit lower. A little bit lower, but not quite going down just yet. And it looks like these Queens will not continue to chase. Again, it's just one of those games where Rogue's not going to give up out of nowhere, but Dark can't realistically push across the map until a much later stage than from when he took the advantage, and that later stage is now starting to come around. Now he does start to move across here. This is when these Lings should instantly go for a counterattack. There's no way you fight this army straight up, so counterattacks are generally your best friend, but there's Banes and Roaches left behind, and there's absolutely nothing to deal with these Roaches on the other side of the map. 32 Zerglings in production. I mean, before those Lings are even out, this base goes down, a lot of drones go down. Lings are still unable to find an entrance on the other side of the map. Banes going off here and there, still splitting themselves up to deal with attacks from both angles, and Rogue realizes that this really is GG with no hopes of coming back in, because our Red Protoss player here from Splice and representing Cylinders and Bugs and hence being 1-0 up after Dark, his teammate won game 1. This is Stats, our Red Protoss player. Going up against the bottom right hand side Blue Protoss player, this is Deer. Let's see what he can do for the 94 fam as he'll look to try and even things out 1-1 in this best of 7. Wardy, are the Korean server frame rate issues fixed now, or are they persevering? And so we talked about this at the community summit. They're not fixed because Blizzard has no idea what's causing them, but they're being looked into. So, I mean, the answer to that is no, they're not fixed. Hopefully soon, but again, Blizzard don't really know what's going on. They do know it's an issue. They're looking into it. They're running tests, but right now they have no idea what's changed to suddenly cause this to, you know, be a thing for everybody. Are these old games? These games were played maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, just before BlizzCon or so. We're just playing catch-up. We never got to cast these or anything. You might have caught them on Base Trade TV when they were cast live, but in general, we are casting, yes. I mean, yes, they're old games. 2 gates apiece here from both players, of course. No real surprises. Early game PvP looking as you would expect it to. Cybernetic score dropping down from both players as well. Stats will start to get maybe a little cheeky though. Puts a pylon up to the top side now. It's an interesting pylon position because it isn't exactly proxy towards your opponent's base. Yes, it's closer than your main, but not by a huge amount because it is all the way up to this top side. Now, if it was down here or something, we'd talk a lot more about the possibility of a Stargate very quickly in an Oracle. It might just be a Stargate, not with the idea of it being so much faster to hit and to deal damage, but with just the idea of it not being very easily scouted by your opponent in terms of what's going on, which could also open other options in terms of what could be built here by Stats. Twilight Council for Dark Shrine is one of the main things I would say. There's a real possibility as well. And I was saying it as you put down the Twilight Council, which sort of ruined my whole let's look cool and predict what it is moment, because yeah, he kind of put it down just a second before I started saying it. But obviously a Twilight Council into DT Shrine works pretty well up here. I wonder if he does go Dark Shrine though, because currently he doesn't have the probe nearby. I guess we'll see in a moment or so. The other option is just to go off like a blink or something here, and just to have it so that your opponent really will struggle to see what's going on. There is a lot of Stalkers coming up early here from Stats, so in terms of blink, that does reinforce the idea of that possibility. I mean, this probe is not going into position to build a Dark Shrine, so it does feel like this is an upgrade-based play on the Twilight Council that's just going to be hidden away from Dia as much as possible. The probe actually comes down here, places a pylon, probe will fall, but now the pylon will have to be dealt with. Dia has 2 Stalkers that are going to end up being a little bit in an awkward spot here, as we do see the units of Stats coming forwards. It's 2-on-2 for the moment, and actually Dia does get a better shot, and well, that's actually starting to be a little bit of an interesting trade between the two of them. There's more units coming across. It's actually just a probe coming out through the top side. Probe from Dia also going in to try and scout, as we do see that Twilight Council now chrono boosting out the blink. Stalker production is just non-stop from Stats. He's just going to keep it going. No expansion from him just yet, as he does drop a third gateway and a shield battery in his main base. Now as this probe is granted access, scouting is going to be fully available for Dia. Of course, with restrictions of only being able to scout the main base. He doesn't see what's up here, but he must realize something is missing, right? There's no way Stats doesn't have any sort of tech choice. By 350 in the game, okay, a third gateway, well, if it was just gateway-based pressure alone, he would have been seeing that gateway up a lot earlier, and the effects of it already coming through in terms of mob units being available. So, Tier's really in this spot where he probably knows something is coming. He probably doesn't quite know what. He starts an Oracle pretty quickly after scouting, and I wonder if that's just because he realizes there's an opportunity to deal damage, or if he feels, well, if it is GTs now, I have some detection available to me on the map. We'll see if he makes more than just the one Oracle. He has to be careful, because more than one Oracle could start to cost him in terms of being able to defend against a wave of Blink Stalkers. You have to really find the right balance here. Where'd that Oracle actually get to? I'm looking for it, I don't see it. Okay, actually just came back to the main, which kind of says to me that Dia thinks this is probably Dark Templar. And this gives Stats a chance now to move forwards, and as he pushes in with his Blink Stalkers, well, that Oracle is not going to be very useful. I mean, you can Revelate, and okay, that's nice to still have vision, but it's far from the end of the world, as we do see the Blink being used nicely here to lose nothing at all from Stats, while killing the Stalker of his opponent. Force Field, 2 Force Fields, that's really nice. He's going to trap a bunch of Stalkers in here right away, and those Stalkers are going to keep on dropping, so Stalkers will go down. Pushing in Stats is, oh, it's a little bit back and forth. The Sentry goes down too. A couple of Stalkers blinking away there. Oracle coming in as well to try and give chase still. Okay, but in the end, it's still Stats who's reinforcing this. And with the Blink, over time, he's got to start overrunning here, right? Well, there's a lift up on this Stalker. The Phoenix obviously lifting, that means it can't blink away. There's a Stasis Ward available now, as the Phoenix will not go down. Stasis Ward catches a good few Stalkers here, actually. Stalkers blink in, and they're actually really eager to fight. He gets the Phoenix, he'll get himself the Oracle as well, but no blink away available means he's losing a lot of Stalkers. Stats is in a little bit of trouble because Dia is cleaning this up quite nicely. I mean, Dia's taking losses too, but Stats is on the offensive. Dia's about to get a Void Ray. Shield batteries are on the way up. What does Stats do to really keep breaking this is, well, he has expanded back at home. He is the one building probes where, you know, Dia is really building shield batteries instead of just trying to help him with the defense. This is Void Ray now taking a little bit more damage. Shield battery keeping it alive. It will stay alive there as the Stalkers blink away. Coming up once again. Now we see Stalkers still from Dia. So we'll make it too good up on the high ground as 3 more Stalkers again finishing warping in now. Shield battery finishes up in the natural expansion. Stalker still pressing forwards here, and we do see one Stalker picked off. Still no blink here, of course, from Dia, because it takes a long time to build a Twilight Council and then that upgrade, and it's a long time where he'd be very vulnerable and he'd be investing his money into something which doesn't help him immediately defend. Only just now is a Robo Facility gone down even. Obviously a Robo Facility can get a hell of a lot done, so there's a couple of Adepts are also about to finish up. These Stalkers and these 2 Adepts are going to push forwards, and well, I mean, there's just so many shield barriers that surely Stats will not be able to break through here. Adept shades up, 2 Adept shade up at you. 2 Adepts are really annoying, man. I mean, they one-shot workers, 2 shots at the same time. Well, 2-shot them as well. If there's only 1 Adept left, there's Adept actually getting quite some value here. Definitely not a bad thing. Stalkers have taken it as a chance to come forward, and oh my god, those 2 Adepts dragged everything into the main, so suddenly the shield batteries are unpowered. And that is kind of a big deal. Okay, the shield battery on the high ground puts some work in to keep a Stalker alive there. And that will give the opportunity to put the pylon back down to repower these shield batteries, but that was a good little moment, a good little opportunity for Stats, who, by the way, throughout all this, is now up 42 to 20 workers. And that's obviously going to start being a real difference here as time passes by. Dia is really struggling on that work count, but Stats is doing great, and his army supply is going to start benefiting from it. You know, very shortly, we're going to start seeing Stats in a position where he is truly just going to be way far ahead, because he's just able to produce so much more. So after all of this pressure is said and done, I mean, in terms of workers killed, not even that many, 7 workers killed. It was just the pressure that Stats has been able to apply. It's kept Dia from probing up, it's kept Dia from setting up into a strong economy, and it's put Stats into what really is here now truly a very winnable position. 2 Adepts are going to shade forwards, and well, I mean, just try and get a similar bout of harassment done as to what we saw previously. Stats trying to do. He does let these Adepts in, even though the probe was there to potentially block off the Adepts. And you see a couple probes. Well, actually, the Adept shot's out of sync, so the shield barrier getting a chance to heal up there. Now the Adept shots are in sync, as the Zealots will come in, and actually these Adepts walk into us around 3 or 4 probes dropping. I mean, it brings the worker count closer together, but all these advantages from stats are still very apparent in the game. He's about to have charge lots ready to go. He's going to have +1 attack in advantage as well. This Robo is later, but in terms of just gateway units, it might just win him the game right now. With charge and +1 attacking into this natural, there's 5 Stalkers and 2 Sentries here. That is not a lot of units, and that is just the unit count of his opponent right now. There is just nothing left on the map for Dia. 5 Stalkers, 2 Sentries, soon to be maybe an Immortal. I mean, these Zealots have charged, these Stalkers have +1. It's going to be a very, very sad fight. You see already blinking away, shield battery energy being drained on the Sentry, which has already used its force fields. Zealots start charging forwards, and again at this stage, what do you do as Dia? Well, probably not very much. Stats takes game number 2 as Dia taps out, and that's going to be GG. Stats will take the 2 Slenders and Bugs and the 94 fam, which is Solar Stats and Dark taking on TY. Solar Stats and Dark against TY, Dia, and Rogue. Part of the Crank Team League. And very excited to, again, just bring you guys some of these games, etc. as we go on forward, as we keep on producing StarCraft content. Again, we're hoping to have a whole bunch of StarCraft events coming up for you guys in the near future. Just stuff like upcoming tournaments. In general, we've got stuff pretty well planned out so that we should be able to stream for the majority of the rest of the year and have content pretty much every day. Like I said, we are going to be aiming to stream literally every day apart from the days where I'm at Home Story Cup for the rest of 2018. So that is the current goal. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll end up taking Christmas off or something. But we'll see what happens. The point is, we gotta get this stream going. We gotta make this stream successful. We gotta live off this stream, because I really think there's less and less casting opportunities going around right now, and I don't know. It's just time to really go all out on the stream and see what we can do. Our first goal is to start building back up the sub count again. We're not going to talk about that too much because it's kind of depressing to look at for the moment, but let's see what goes on as we kick off into this TY versus Solo game. And we get into this as well. Okay, why now my StarCraft is crashing. But it looks as though we're okay. What's up, everyone? Coming in from the DeMuslim stream. Thank you so much, DeMuslim, for that 655 viewer host, and welcome everybody. How you all doing? Good to have you with me. And Bologna coming in for that Twitch Prime sub. You join us in game 3 of this clan war, and TY in the bottom left, the red Terran player from Splice, taking on Solar in the top right hand side, as it is 2-0 in favor of Solar's team, which is Slenders and Bugs, which is Solar, Stats, and Dark, and against TY, Rogue, and Dia. And this is game 3. TY with the 2 racks then, as we do see few drones coming down and start chasing in towards that bunker. Another Marine shows up as well, so a couple of Marines in this bunker going to leapfrog forwards here. 10 Lings about to finish up, though. 2 Queens in production as well. And as we do see Solar, some good information about this has been sent up for it for a little while. He definitely wasn't unaware of this, but that said, now a 3rd bunker comes up, and this starts to become a very strong, powerful position. Moving forwards here, getting a little bit more damage done. This hatchery still taking some hits. And this is all off of a 2 racks, remember, so the gases are taken back at home. The factory has begun, and a transition starts to become available. Bunker in the front finishes up as well. He's going to start targeting down a lot of the drones here. He should be able to get out on this side and keep on fighting drones as he comes down towards this bottom bunker. This bunker in the center still building as well. And in fact, it looks as though he'll probably be able to get out of this bunker. Oh no, this bunker doesn't quite finish. And so Solar will come through. And Solar will clean this up. But he's down to 8 drones, and that's the thing here from TY. He might not have ended the game, but this was not a build where he had to end the game for 2 racks. He has a transition, and by focusing down the drones, and now he really did do that. He targeted the drones when they were surrounding that bunker rather than the Zerglings. He was targeting the drones, and because of that, Solar's down to 10 workers. And that makes it very difficult to recover from this position, despite having cleaned it up and kept his hatchery alive. So what do you do now? Well, actually, I don't really know, because a reactor comes up on this factory, and all of a sudden, we're in this sort of position where Hellions can start producing. They're going to keep you very safe from these Zerglings, and Solar has nothing to do other than to build drones for a little while, so you're not even under that much pressure as the Terran player. Just 1 SCV on each side of this, repairing up the depot, repairing up the factory. And it looks like a very good situation here from TY. His own CC for the natural expansion is going to be finished soon. His own starport about to be done as well. He has only the gas for a medevac or a Viking. He does opt for the Viking here for the moment, so Viking to get this going. And that's going to be on the way out as, again, just a couple of SCVs continuing to repair things up. Those two barracks are about to fly back home and get back into position here. Barracks number 1 and barracks number 2 will land, and those Zerglings going to be backing away out towards the center. So Lings end up backing away here pretty quickly. I mean, obviously, as soon as Hellions come on the map, there's not really much they can do. They're only there to try and force as much as they could in terms of, you know, keeping the SCVs off the line, repairing, and little things like that. That definitely does go a long way. It definitely does add up. Ling's just sat underneath this Overlord next to this Queen. A few more drones on the way out. An Orbital about to finish up in the main as this Viking comes in, kills that Overlord. This Orbital's getting ready to lift. We'll move over towards the natural expansion here as well. And again, these few Hellions of TY are just going to be sat around, just waiting to see, well, what's up next? What happens now? Zergling gets picked off too, and this Viking of TY continues to come up towards the upper right-hand side of the map. An Armory now on the way down as well. It's about halfway done, so he's going to turn this into a Hellbat attack. Did he build a medevac? He did, so he could probably either go for the Hellbats in the main and a Hellbat push on the third, or he could just go for the Hellbats all in one location, which is less likely because he doesn't have any Marines to necessarily kind of justify. You know, usually if you go for Hellbats all in one place, you kind of have some Marines that the medevac brings along as well. And I think there's going to be like 4 Hellions into the main, and I mean, he's already doing a very good job of trying to hide this information with this Viking shutting down all of these Overlords. Pushing them back as far as possible definitely helps. Zergling gets picked off right there as, again, 4 Hellions moving forward to clean up creep, and the creep is pretty impressive. Still more drones on the way out from Solar. 13 ahead at the moment, though. In terms of the units, he only has 14 Lings on the map. There's those Hellions towards the main base, completely unseen until they arrive, basically. Obviously, Solar isn't scared of these 4 Hellions on the bottom side, but now he's going to be kind of a little bit upset with himself, because he also only has 4 Queens. That's one of the things about having been in a bit of a weaker position at the start of this game. With only 4 Queens up, it becomes much harder to defend this than it usually would be when you might have 6 to 7 Queens available for the defense. This medevac was taking a bit of damage, but the Hellbats have forced the Queens away. Queens are dropping over on the third base as well. A couple of drones also taking shots over here. Some Hellbats have gone down to the natural, where they find another Queen kill. Lings are going down as they spawn. There's just no other option here as to what else you build. Viking now has free reign on the Overlords in the main base. A Liberator showing up with a similar idea, although maybe that would want to see a job and do damage elsewhere. 2 more Hellions just run on by. 3 more Hellions actually run on by into the main base, finding this stack of drones. And it's a barbecue up in Lost and Found as Solar loses out on so very much. And again, just a difficult position to recover from after the early game. 2 racks did do a lot of damage. It put our Terran player into a very strong position and the Zerg into a very weak position. TY takes game 3, and this will not be a clean sweep heading into the 2v2. A little bit of fun in mind. It is a deficit right now, a loss so far, as TY was the only person to win it map for the 94 fam. It'll be TY and Deer, the red and teal players in the bottom right-hand side of the map representing the 94 fam, trying to tie up this series. They're taking on to the top left-hand side, Stats and Solar. The purple Protoss and the blue Zerg starting in the top left-hand side here on Emerald City, which is the map for every single one of these 2v2s. Again, if you just joined the stream today, we are going to be having multiple matches. We're going to be doing this series and also a second best of 7 after this as well. So if you joined in, you're like, oh man, already 3 gamers down, don't worry, because we are very, very possibly going to be going into, well, we definitely are going to be going into a whole new best of 7 as well. So loads of games still to come today. We're going to wrap up the stream with some marbles as well a little bit later on. What's up? New viewer with the $10 donation. Thank you so much for the $10. Lol, what kind of name is Jonathan? It's a great name. It's the sort of name that people mistype every single time, even when it's right there in front of them. Someone like emails me on my email which has my name in it. They then open with, "Hey Jonathan," they spell it completely wrong. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And frustrating. Thank you so much for the $10, new viewer. Appreciate it. Command Center drops down on the natural expansion as we do see a Reaper. About halfway done. It's going to be popping out in a few moments here, and just going to be seeing the Overlords again, just kind of spreading themselves around. A probe here from Deer, starting to head down towards the bottom right. They've just been scouting around as well. Really not much to talk about. I mean, very standard stuff from both players on both sides. Dia was a little bit slow to expand here overall. He went for the one base Stargate, but he will still be expanding, so all across the board players expanding and looking to get into some nice little positions to play forwards from. Are we all now trying to spell my name in the worst way possible? You guys should spell it like Jonathan, like, hang on, I'll just type it. There you go, Jonathan. There you go. Just really as ridiculous as it can get. You would laugh, you guys laugh, but it's gotten there before. You know, it's gotten there before. Usually it's just like a random H in there. Sometimes it's an AN at the end, which is kind of, you know, fair enough. But yeah, Jontron. That should be my nickname. You know what? I should get rid of Wardy. I should just be Jontron. What's up, guys? Jontron here today, bringing you some StarCraft 2 action. Step back, dropping down from TY. We got two different compositions here in the 2v2. We have TP versus ZP. Pretty much every single time we see a Protoss play, they pretty much always go Phoenix. So it's kind of going to be a battle of Phoenix. And then it should have been, you know, it's going to be kind of like a battle of Phoenix. And then once there's a battle of Phoenix, it's kind of up to the Terran and the Zerg to then do a little bit more. So that'll be interesting because it is different races paired up with the Protoss players here. As you do see this Oracle flying away up through the top side. A few Zerglings going to be coming down into the middle of the map now. That Oracle continues to run away as a Phoenix from stats starts to chase it down. That Oracle is out of there, man. He's like, no, get me out of here. Get me out of here. As he comes on down, back to the bottom right. Thank you for another $5, Nivea. Should have been John Ophon. I mean, it can be whatever you want it to be, really. I mean, you can spell it in any way. I mean, this is why I go by Wardy. It's so much simpler. You know, when I call myself Wardy, at least they add the wrong number of eyes to my name, right? It's just one eye, guys. It just isn't meant to be 3 eyes. But, you know, I wouldn't mind if people typed it with 3 eyes. I've been on this rant before, and people will know it, but I don't mind if you type it with 3 eyes. It's meant to be 1 eye. I get it. My Twitch ID has 3 eyes. What always gets me, and this happened at the community summit as well, everyone types it with 2 eyes. They're just like, it's like, yeah, I've seen it with 1. I've seen it with 3. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to type it with 2. That seems about right, you know? It's funny. It happens a lot. I've talked about it a lot as well. Anyways, let's see what happens as we do see these two medevacs starting to come up towards the upper side. A few more Marines dropping down. Phoenix moving in and just here to support this drop. It's going to be Lingbane and Ward off the left from Solar. I'm not even sure. Maybe just Lingbane Hydra would be strong, or maybe even just pure Lingbane rush up towards Hive Tech. You got those Phoenix to kind of support you as well. The Phoenix count between the players right now 7-on-7. So both players slightly different ways of getting set up in the game, but they're set up into very similar positions now. Third base is dropping down, and fairly similar timings too. I mean, Pulse Crystals is a little bit faster here actually from stats. Yeah, Dia just a little bit slow on his, so just needs to keep that going. As we do see these Marines, just a few of them stimming ahead of the rest. I'm still intrigued to see what comes in off the lair of the Zerg player here, Solar. Because I really do see this as a possibility for him to just say, you know what, okay, let's go. And just play kind of a, like a Lingbane only style. Lingbane Phoenix, and then use the excess money to kind of tech up. It could be very strong. I'm no TV2 expert, trust me. We don't really play it, but it could be pretty good. As we do see some Adepts at the front here, taking some damage. Ling's running forwards. Adept goes down, another Ling, another Baneling. Another Adept also picked off. And a couple of Wooden Mines, a few Marines just gathering up together. Just on the edge of this creep spread. Again, another couple of Zerglings moving forwards here. Wooden Mine will be set off. I mean, it's just something that's sacrificed here by TY as he backs away. If you look at the supplies right now, it's pretty much even supplies on the Protoss players. Very small differences. If you look at TY versus Solar, the supplies are pretty even as well. Solar has a couple more drones, a little bit more army from TY, but he can't do much with it just yet, so everything's seeming pretty okay as TY will start up his own expansion. Up until now, he has been on just the 2 racks, really? No, he's been on 2 racks all this time? That is kind of crazy. Okay, well, Yeah, that's actually mind-blowing. I'd probably be up to 5 racks already, but nope. Okay, well, third CC comes down. You'd expect then barracks number 3, 4, and 5 not to be too far off either. He's also going to get his armory finished so he can start the 2-2 upgrades nice and smoothly into what is an upgrade lead for TY and Dia here so far in this 2v2. If you refresh the stream to get rid of ad, it replays the pre-roll ads. I know. Don't even get me started on pre-roll ads. But you want to remove the lag? Do you mean like when the game goes out of sync or something? You're like a few seconds behind everyone else. You should try just like pausing and playing it, because I think that will fix it without refreshing the stream, and it shouldn't set a pre-roll ad off either. I kind of like these Widowmine just setups that are being left behind here. It kind of feels like it just works, you know. There's just kind of, you know, they're just kind of there. And, you know, they might not catch a lot, but if they catch a couple units here, the Phoenix may be flying, then, you know, it could be destructive. Dia's not too far away to capitalize on anything that runs into those Wooden Mines and maybe gets some hits on it. Solo did, in the end, opt to go into the Hydraless Den with his lair tech. Again, just going to be seeing the Phoenix still setting up on the top side of this. They're trying to see where they can go as we do see these units just going to move down in towards the third base location here. So they move down towards that third base. We see the Phoenix going to come in. They're going to start picking up a few of these drones. So a few drones going down, and we do see these Phoenix of stats are also set up to move in over towards the right, and they are going to chase. Well, a couple of Widow Mines going off, but nothing on too huge. Just a couple of lings here and there. Nice splitting actually for the most part by Solar. As we'll see, these Phoenix are still also just being very cautious of the skirmish. Oh my god, that Widow Mine went towards the big clumpers like there, but it just wasn't quite enough. Wasn't quite in enough to really deal massive damage. But 9 minutes in, and it has been a fairly passive 2v2. I mean, the Phoenix haven't really committed into each other. The Terra and the Zergs have not really clashed. Just some small trades with, for the most part, just these couple Widow Mines going down. Wow. Phoenix going to come back up through the top side. More Lings, Banes, and Hydras all gathering together towards the third base at the moment. Fourth hatchery also about to finish up, so Solar gets that done for himself. We see a few Phoenix here from Dia. Also going to be moving through the top as, well, he's just going to be kind of falling back home a little bit. That's a Raven of TY that's been trying to find a little bit of something, but doesn't really find much at all just yet. Being run by is shut down almost instantly. And yeah, I mean, what an interesting game. Dia has fallen down by about 13 supply against Stats. And it is 33 to 34 Phoenix, but Stats has a mothership as well. Okay, but Stats is also behind on the +2 attack upgrade. Well, just upgrades in general. And he is going into carriers though. So carriers on the way from Stats. Dia will continue with the... Well, he actually goes into his own carriers. Okay, well, very interesting. Both the pros players go carriers at the same time. So it's obviously carrier time here now. As the Terrans and the Zerg, well, I guess it comes down to who's going to be able to help against the carriers the most then. You kind of feel like the Terran Marines would do pretty well if they're not being targeted, but then again, perhaps not. I mean, compared to the Hydras do pretty well against Interceptors. Depends on the numbers, obviously, but it's a weird little game that's going on right now. Let's see what happens as we set this up. Phoenix up to the top there, gathering together. We see 7 more drones on the way out from Solo as well. Spore Crawlers being set up on each of these new bases that come in, just making sure those Phoenix do not have an entry to just suddenly pick off 20 workers or so. After not really much was lost all game long in terms of, you know, Phoenix damage dealt, it definitely would be a shame right now if we were to see those Phoenix suddenly find an entire mineral line and boom. I mean, you pick up 16 drones, that's 800 minerals. It's 16 workers you have to play with that for a little while as well, so... Marine stem in on the left, pylon goes down, the Nexus will also fall. Things, Banes, and Hydras coming back down. This drop, you can't really commit in too much further just right away, right? I mean, he knows there's going to be units here. This base already has defenses set up. I mean, 2 medevacs and Marines are really not going to be that successful. These Lings continue to run forwards, and those Marines are going to be able to turn those Lings away for the most part. And yes, the Lings are indeed turned back. A probe comes down here, try and put down a Nexus, unable to. Marines in the end will get blown up by Banelings to TY. What was he paying attention to elsewhere? His Raven didn't really do much. Yeah, I don't actually know what his plan was there. Interesting. Link's top right will pick off a pylon 2, and again, this TV2 has been still not really the most aggressive of TVTs. 5.8k loss. Solar, he lost a lot of Lings and Banes this game as well. Anti-armor missile will cover the Phoenix, but is there a chance for Dia to jump on that? Not really, because those Phoenix are back above kind of home territory again. But well, those anti-armor missiles could definitely be game-changing if they go off correctly, you know, ahead of the big fight. Raven on the way up now from TY. Free upgrades finishing up from him soon. As he just slowly adds in Vikings and Ravens, they're just going to go all out in the sky here, Deer and TY. But I wonder what the plan is from Stats and Solar. Obviously, Stats is all about those carriers, but what's Solar's plan? Still just starting Link Bane Hydra. I guess then we get the question of, you know, what's better? The transition into Terran kind of Sky Air? Or is it going to be just Link Bane Hydra? I kind of feel like it's Link Bane Hydra, but I guess we'll see. It depends really kind of on what happens with these anti-armor missiles, because so much could happen there. You see Interceptors, Hydras pushing up this base. The frames are going to drop a little bit here, guys. I can only apologize for my lack of ability to stream TV2 effectively. As you will see a couple of Banes getting blown up, the tanks into defensive positions getting shut down, the orbital will fall. And, well, just pretend this is meant to be like a slideshow. You know, it's just a presentation on how TV2 is meant to be played. But to the left-hand side, Stats actually run out of Interceptors, so with DS having Interceptors on his carriers, you would imagine this is going pretty well for him. The Vikings jump forward to try and get rid of some of those carriers. They're wasting some shots here and there on Phoenix, which, I mean, it's nice to get shots on Phoenix, but it doesn't exactly do a lot of damage in comparison to what you could be doing, targeting down carriers one at a time. Anti-armor missile goes down as well. Feels as though if that had come in just a few moments earlier, this would have been even more of a one-sided battle to some extent. Well, DNTY push this away. And Stats and Solar will not be able to break them just yet. Interesting stuff, though. I mean, you come out of this, and if you compare the players again, obviously the pros players are pretty even. But Stats does, or Stats team Solar, he has 58 drones to 76 SCVs in the Terran, and Solar is not maxed out. Maybe he can take some money off of Stats, but yeah, for the moment, he is 160 supply, and he's the only player not close to maxing. So TY and D are looking pretty good unless they can't control the fights, which will get harder and harder now. That's going to be kind of Raven Viking as a style. Transcend on the bottom side morphs in on the gold base. A few Marines stimming forwards to pick that off, and just going to see another couple of Zerglings turned away pretty swiftly there as it runs into those group of Marines and realizes, hey, well, those dudes with guns, they definitely aren't my friend. And they're trying to hunt me down. Ling loses its life, but otherwise, Solar and Stats are maxed out again. Solar's just a bit off, but he's almost there. Stats does have the better bank than Dio, though mostly only in minerals. Dia's army Stats the top right. So if you look at the unit tab for a moment, it is 11 carriers from Dia to 9 of Stats. There's a mothership advantage for Dia, and there is a Phoenix advantage for Dia. So actually, Dia has everything in terms of the Protoss fight. In terms of the Terran versus Zerg fight, then it becomes who can fight this better. I mean, we kind of saw TY before. Did not have the greatest of times once carriers started to come into play. Let's see if you can do something this time as Solar is maxed out, and maybe they'll get ready to push again now. Fire continues to roam around here as we see carriers up at the top side. With the help of a scan, we'll clean up some of the creep spread. Solar has been controlling the map of this creep throughout the game so far. Now, we've seen a lot of these TVTs, funnily enough, go to kind of a later stage of the game. I guess it's the map layout obviously really promotes that. I mean, talking about a map layout that has so many bases that are easy to take. The only base is not hard to take is maybe even these ones over here. I mean, the gold base is takeable. Maybe even just these ones here. So you have, between the two of you, a ton of resources to put to use. Fossack asking, how did they create these teams? I imagine they just sort of made them up based on friends, or maybe Crank has some suggestions. It's nothing kind of serious in terms of affiliation with teams or anything, though. The only team that we have in the clan on the clan league is Titan X1. But there is a bunch of generic Green Rings players that play on different teams. They could have made their own team called Generic if they wanted to, but they decided not to. Few Banes rolling forwards and a couple cannons over here. I mean, they go down, but this is really kind of detrimental damage. Not really. As we do see those Phoenix gathering up now with the carriers in the mothership. Hydralisks underneath still, once again. Trying to see what's going to happen as we have Dia to the top side. So both these Protoss armies in different positions. The Terran of TY looking for a chance to maybe drop that anti-armor missile to start the initiation on his opponent's armies. Yamato Cannon coming up as well. That rep and refit upgrade almost done here from TY. Our battle cruiser is going to be a thing. I mean, it's the only thing that's really missing the top off this PVT. That's kind of this TVZ that's kind of going on, I guess, as the PvP continues as well. And amongst all of it, it's a weird one. TP versus PZ. And oh my god, though. TY loses a bunch of medevacs full of units on the bottom side. Big pickups there, but I mean, here we go. Dia just arrives in the main base of Solar. And what is there to stop these carriers? Well, in position, absolutely nothing. But it might just be a trigger as well for Stats to move forwards and get something done. And it looks as though it will be. They start pushing in towards these outer bases. And so, I mean, okay, these interceptors are going to get a lot done, sure. And yes, they're going to get rid of +3/+3, but you're also losing bases on this side. And I mean, those are important mining bases, so now TY is going to struggle to mine, and so he has 1,300 minerals, and then not really much else to rebuild with. An anti-armor missile is up, but it's not really something the players can capitalize on just yet. Into the main base sweeps Dia as he tries to clean out as much as he can. Finally gets picked off, and this gateway at the front was momentarily in some trouble too. He's just picking off Nexus after Nexus. Full on base trade mode here as TY will try to defend at home. Parasitic bomb to try and deal with. Anti-armor missiles onto the mothership. Will actually tag a bunch of the Ravens, but I just don't know if TY has enough to hold on here properly. He loses his air army, and now he's down at 90 supply, and it looks as though Solar and Stats are breaking through, because Stats is still maxed out. I mean, so is Dia, who is now just recalled home, so he's going to come in from the north side, but still has a fighting army compared to TY, who really does not. And I mean, Solar also has all of his interceptors ready to go here too, so that's not an issue either. Vipers here from Solar, ready to drop down parasitic bombs if they can ever see the enemy. The issue is right now they cannot see him. The ship gets brought in atop of the rest of the units here. Now the interceptors get to work. Carriers going down one at a time. The Phoenix finally come back in. Here comes TY's battle cruisers. We mentioned them before, and they are now starting to take to the stage. But I mean, he's on 80 supply. Is he really looking hopeful? Not really. 70 and 120 supply against 143 and 149. GG called by TY. Looks like Dia will try and sit in the game a little bit longer, but not for too long. Stats and Solars will take it to a 3-1 and continue this through as we kick off into game number 5 now of this best of 7. Usually they are teammates. Today they're on different sides of the map to each other. As we have our right Terran to the top right hand side from Splice. This is TY representing the 94 fam. He's the only player left alive. He's the only player that won for them in the first 4 games, so he's the only player they can use in the all-kill section of the bracket. Whereas Cylinders and Bugs, they send out Stats. They can send out anybody because they got the revive from the all-kill, from the 2v2, sorry. So they revive Solar, who lost in the earlier rounds, and so they have Stats, Dark, and Solar alive to try and make this work out. As we set up here, guys, it's a proxied barracks to start the game. The proxy TVP meta, it's a thing. Let's be realistic. I mean, we saw it at BlizzCon. Yes, it didn't work out well for Mari, but you look at all the games where, you know, Terrans try to take it into kind of, you know, later to mid-game TVP, and okay, Special played really well against Classic, but he also played really well against Stats, and Stats still managed to win him out in a lot of mid-game TVPs. So it's an interesting matchup right now where the proxies are maybe not great, but neither is the other choices, and so here we are left wondering what the next kind of shift in the meta will be to help the Terran players out a little bit. I mean, obviously we have that big balance patch coming in the near future, and you would imagine that that balance patch will have something to say about all of that. As we do see this, a little probe is just wandering around, chilling out, moving around in circles, having a good little time. Orbital command starts to come up here on the main base. Factory will be at home. Still a chance to proxy a starport if TY wants to. The proxy creeper for now, what that will allow him to do is to guarantee a lot of information. It will guarantee a lot, you know, a couple units staying at home for a little while. It just gives them some definite kind of, okay, I see what's up sort of setup as he'll go into the factory at home. But so yeah, again, I'm interested to see where the starport build is, because there's a real possibility he proxies the starport with this SCV still. He's used the SCV as a really good bait so far to keep that Zealot busy until allow the Reaper to get in without any issues, as we will see a probe gets picked off right away. What's up, Duke? How you doing? Good to see you the last couple of weeks, dude. But the most awesome thing about the last few days I was away, guys, was that not only did I do BlizzCon, I was also at TwitchCon, and so I got to see a lot of my like StarCraft fam, not just one weekend, but like 2 weekends in a row, and like people that I don't get to hang out with all the time because, well, you know, I don't get to go to NA events all of the time, right? So it was really cool to be able to kind of see them a couple weekends in a row. You know, just the whole StarCraft family thing. It's true. It's really a thing. Robot facility dropping down in the main base here of stats. And as we do have this barracks is just coming across the top side. Those two Reapers are coming down the south and thinking just what they might want to try and get up to. Cyclone will get rid of the probe, which scouts and confirms there is indeed an expansion on the way up, so Stats getting some info there. These Reapers hop up, but can't really do much apart from be annoying on this pylon. And while Stalker coming in from the other side means it's time for those Reapers to get out. But look at that. Boom. You're able to get away and escape out towards the center of the map. So those Reapers getting out of there. Great job. Well done. And the Reapers just going to start splitting up. One in the center still, one down to the bottom side. And as we see extra barracks finishing up at home. TY with the transition here. Again, it's been not really too crazy beyond the Reapers. Not really anything in particular. I didn't even go into a starport, so that's just been the factory at home. And again, Reaper's still just trying to pick up info where they can. Stats, good thing he walled off of these structures early, though, because, I mean, it really has helped him to stop those Reapers continue to be an annoyance throughout these early stages of the game. Still not bad, though. I mean, 2 probes, both the Reapers survive, so they can be used here and there again. As we are going to be seeing the bunker just on the way up here from TY. If you just joined us, guys, you're wondering what the early matches were, and you don't want to spoil yourselves on the bracket, etc. The first match was Dark taking down Rogue. The second game was Stats taking down Deer. Third game, TY did take down Solar. And then the 2v2 went the way of Stats and Solar against TY and Deer. And here we are now, Stats, Solar, and Dark's team. Cylinders and Bugs up 3-1 against TY, Rogue, and Deer, the 94 fam. So that's just a quick recap on what you've just been missing out if you're just tuning in right now. I know, obviously, cast and replay, it's always a little bit of a danger to go and find the bracket, etc. But there you go, now you know. Live updates. It's almost as though we're casting it live. Incredible. Robot Bay is just taking along here as Stats makes a tech choice to go into that, and TY in the meantime just goes into more Marauders. His starport moves to Reactor, and so, well, Reactor Medevacs come on the menu, and couple of those on the way up as we speak. Meanwhile, 2 Marauders, 2 more Marines in production here, so they're also on the way out. And, well, again, just a few more. Actually cancels the Marauders and starts up Marines instead. Interesting. Okay, then. Well, TY, we'll see what his long-term plan is. Stops up the +1 attack upgrade. Colossus now being chrono boosted out of the robot facility, and as the first medevacs come out, you would expect at least some sort of pressure from TY. Start getting on the map, start trying to get a little bit of something done. Why does he build this bunker? He's just a little bit afraid of potential openings from the Protoss player and, you know, potential attacks. You know, for example, when he saw the Robo, did you see the Robo? No. So he didn't really get much information on the tech choice, but if it was Blink, for example, this bunker helps him a lot to just stay here without units being picked away at for free. If it's some form of like an aggressive Robo build, like a War Prism Immortal push, it's that sturdiness. It's really just a safety bunker. It covers you against anything. I think the most important thing is Blink Stalkers not being able to just have free reign picking away at things at the front is a really nice thing to commit against. You do see this drop forces a recall into the main. Hey, Cyclone and Reaper on the left-hand side, they're going to be able to get rid of this pylon. Yeah, it's not bad at all. A free pylon pickup. Over here they're still fighting. It's another pylon going down. TY making some magic happen with these drops so far. As we'll see a couple of units starting to come up here to push this away. Reaper also just sat up to the top side, and more units from TY coming through the top as well, heading over to the left, as we see those Marines being held up a little bit by those medevacs, and everything just sort of gathering together here from Stats as another scan comes down, and that probe's going to back away towards the natural. So again, that third base getting picked away at there, as we do see a third CC from TY now building on the far right-hand side of the map. A little bit of Marine Marauder getting ready to go. A couple more Widow Mines in the center as well. All of this pushing through the middle, and That's just going to be burrowing nice and quickly. Twilight Council, Forge, extra gateways, Colossus, all of this still coming through at the moment. As you have TY just setting up around the top side of the map. TY also on the bottom side of the map now. There's a couple of Colossus will want to try and be a little bit cautious here, as we'll see one Reaper going down. And we do see Marines also just still coming through the top side. So, again, just TY with some really good pressure. Keeps stats off of a third base. And, yeah, okay, stats setup was kind of very okay. I'll stay on 2 bases a bit longer than usual anyways. So, that's still kind of okay. But at the same time, it's TY doing everything he needs to do to put himself into a strong spot moving forwards in this TVP. What's up, Ed Scottney123? How you doing? Thank you so much for the 3-month resub. My life has been Wardyless for too long. Any marbles later? Yes, we will be doing marbles for a little bit later on to wrap the stream up today. As we'll see some Stalkers coming in, they pick off a Marine, and well, to the top side we have TY with a few Medivacs Marines. Rolling a Cyclone, just still backing away. He now knows the third base is on the bottom side. And knowing that the third base is on the bottom side of the map, well, everything else is still just going to keep on gathering up. A couple more gateways on the way down here from stats on the natural expansion. A starport about to finish very soon. Factory about to finish up its reactor. Tech Lab, racks, I mean all of these structures. It's going to be double starport production, which isn't all too weird against a Colossus style. Going to have a lot of Vikings available to kind of go for one big push. And I wonder if we do see, I mean, you look at the production tab, there's no armory, and I wonder if that's just a big telltale sign that perhaps we see the SCVs coming along with an attack here very soon. Looking to try and break stats with one big attack where the Vikings get rid of the Colossus very quickly. The SCVs help to buffer the bio so they can overrun the gateway units and to win the game just like that. It's a real possibility right here against this style of play. So let's see if it's something that TY goes for. I mean, Concussive Shell's not far from finishing, +1 armor's about here. Maybe a couple more Vikings, then he goes for it, if he wants to go for something like this. Here we go. He's going to go across the map, and well, there we go. A couple of the boys are coming. Not too many then. Okay, a few more from the natural. It's like it's not kind of completely all in, but it's definitely, I want to try and do something really damaging here. He still has the main base man, he still has the natural third base of a mule or two. There's not that many SCVs, it's just a few to help buffer up the first couple of Colossus shots perhaps. As these Vikings will get ready to go. Nice scan, gets rid of that observer very quickly. Obviously that's always great, as we do see TY is actually sending his SCVs back to mine on the third base now, so deciding didn't actually want to go for that little bit of a push forwards there. Scans again, observer, very nearly ran into the scan. War Prism would be a great target for those Vikings to begin with, just stop further reinforcements, and I think he will go for it right away, gets that right from the start. Okay, well that's great, because it also takes away micro potential, so the Colossus can't just kind of hide away from the Viking shots. Suddenly 2 or 3 Colossus are already dead. Really nice force fields here though, will definitely help stats out. And now he only has that 1 Colossus and then a couple Archons in terms of splash damage. And there's still a good amount of bio to work with here. And we see stats running away, and rightly so. The War Prism kill is also great because it slows down further Colossus production, because to rebuild that War Prism, you have to go into the Robo facility, and obviously that takes time to build. So not only does it help you right then and there in the fight, it also helps you in the future fight, slowing things down. A very easily picked off unit there. Very nicely done. I mean, Vikings are still a little bit bruised and battered, but obviously he knows there's only realistically going to be 1, maybe 2 Colossus in this army at the moment. And here we go, just Vikings coming in, and boom, Colossus goes down. So now there's only this War Prism for the Vikings to really shoot at, but the Vikings can also land as well and be a feature on the ground for the Terran army. Sentries using up a lot of their energy. There's only, what, 1 or 2 force fields really left here for these sentries, so those guys are going to be in trouble in just a moment or two. Liberators have started to join the fray off that double reacted starport. He didn't really need any more Vikings, he knew that, so switching into the Liberators sets him up very well for this stage of the game, as these Archons hold position and just being picked away at by bio units. Some Zealots starting to run forwards as well, and Archon going down, and TY is choking stats out of this game, pushing towards this third base. Stats needs a way out, he needs some magic to happen. He needs a counterattack or something, but what do you even do at this stage? Does he have the War Prism still? He does, and that does come across the map. So there's the counterattack he needs to have, you know, maybe distract TY. I mean, distract TY, never mind that. He needs to stop TY actually killing off this base. He's going to fight into Liberator range here because he has no real other choice. Storm is done, but the splits are pretty good from TY, backing away. There's only 2 High Templar Storms available. Some of those storms really don't go the distance either. Vikings landing. I mean, across the map, those Zealots are going to start being an annoyance. Yes, of course they are, but damage is already being done. Look at this. Stims forward. Stalker's going down. Immortal goes down. Archon, more Zealots. Everything will be dropping. And that's going to be GG. TY will keep his team, the 94 fam, alive here. His second win of the day puts them the second point on the scoreboard. This could be a TY one-man carry if he keeps this up. He's one map away from a series. Dark versus TY. Remember that if TY wins this, he forces an ace match against Solar. And this is the elimination round. The losers of this match, they are eliminated from this Crank Team League. To the bottom right-hand side, the red Terran player from Splice is TY. To the top left-hand side, our blue Zerg player. This is Dark. How's everyone doing out in the chat? Thank you so much, Lone Lol, for the 12-month resub coming in towards the end of that last game as well. 1 whole year on the channel. That deserves some love in the chat, guys. Let's see some Wardy hearts up in here. Thank you so much for supporting the stream for an entire year. Boom. Big resub right there. Again, this is our first of 2 best of 7s today, so if this one does end 4-2 in favor of Dark's team, we will have that second best of 7, which will feature Bjorn and the kids versus Titan X1, if I'm not mistaken. So that's Bjorn, Patience, and Gumiho taking on the combo of Alive, Bunny, and Impact. I only have a regular heart, says Siakri. Well, that's fine too. You spam your regular heart as well. That works just as well. Hi, Wardmeister. Saw in base trade that you had a blast at BlizzCon. Good to have you back. You saw in base trade that I had a blast at BlizzCon? What's Rifkin been showing you guys or saying? Did you guys know Rifkin is actually a plushie abandoner? I just want to very quickly at the start of this game, I don't like to go too off topic because we actually like to cast StarCraft here, unlike some StarCraft 2 channels. But I went to the arcade in San Jose with a few friends, and Rifkin couldn't come because he had other commitments, and, you know, I ended up winning a really cool Yoshi. And it was really cool, it was really awesome, and I thought, you know what, my man Rifkin, he's a good friend of mine. I gave him the Yoshi. I said, here you go. I won this for you because you couldn't come with us. He pretended he loved it. He left it on his bed. The housekeeping staff took this Yoshi in. Yoshi felt right at home. He thought he had an owner. Until Rifkin left. You know what Rifkin did, guys? He left Yoshi behind. He just left him in the room. Didn't even consider taking him. Well, he considered it. He told me he didn't have space. If you don't have space for Yoshi, who do you have space for? Huh? So next time you guys use your Twitch Prime sub on a StarCraft 2 casting-based stream, think about it. Do you want to support a Yoshi abandoner? Or do you want to support someone who paid for extra checked baggage to bring Yoshi home? Yeah, that's me. Just in case you guys didn't take the hint. Yeah. You guys think about it. Spend your Twitch Prime subs where it matters, guys. What's up, Port, with his own Twitch Prime sub for 27 months in a row? Thank you so much, Port. How are you doing? Thank you so much. Appreciate the 27 months. Really do appreciate it. A few Marines gathering up down on the natural, and we're just going to be seeing 8lings on the way up. A Bane Nest from Dog as well. Is this super aggressive from Dog? It kind of is, isn't it? 26 drones. He's going for a Ling Bane all in. So here we go, Ling Bane coming across the map here. And, well, I mean, honestly, TY, he's got a Banshee on the way up. That'll help. His factory isn't on a reactor. But he has a good amount of Marines. It's a good little, setup, I think. And he obviously knows that this is on the way as well. SCV comes out to confirm. Bunker on the high ground. TY is in a great position here to defend against this. So here we go, 1 Zergling, 2 Zerglings coming forward, some Banelings moving forwards as well. Engineering Bay is to help block off. The factory's trying to relocate an Engineering Bay to the top side. Doesn't come down, so there is access around the left. The bunker is up though, and man, this is just such a solid position. The Bane's targeted down by the Banshee here means that, well, none of them will get to go off really, and the Zerglings are not really an issue on their own. They're so easily dealt with this number of Marines, Hellions, and a couple of Banes just won't really do that much, and I mean, a complete defense by TY here. Great information from him. He saw what was coming, and boom. There you go. GG's. TY will tie this up. 3 games apiece. 3-3. We're going to an ace match, guys. We're going to a game 7. A bunch of posts from BlizzCon, as I do every year. And you guys get to decide which ones are going up. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think we should put up? I'm trying to think which ones I got. I think I got a Hearthstone one even this time. The Hearthstone one was pretty cool. I think the only one I didn't get was like... I didn't get the Heroes of the Storm one. I think I got Diablo, Key Art, StarCraft, Hearthstone, and the World of Warcraft one. They were all pretty cool, honestly. They were all pretty cool. We put up the Marble one. God damn it. Alright guys, kicking this off to the top left hand side. Game 7 of this best of 7. It's tied up. The only man to have won a game for his team. He is hard carrying the Red Terror, and it is TY. Representing the 94 fam. To the bottom right from Slenders and Bugs. The final bug left alive is Solar. Sylvanas needs to be on my wall for when we want something nice to look at. Hey, that's what the... that's why Nova's on the wall, guys. Duh. God. What one was this? Oh, I opened the key op poster. Honestly, the key op poster this year is really sick as well. It was really cool. I didn't get the Overwatch one, that's it. I also didn't get the Overwatch one. So I didn't get the Heroes or the Overwatch poster. Because the Overwatch poster was... McCree, which is... McCree's cool and all, but... I also only have so much space to put posters anyways, you know? Diablo lol. I mean, I could talk about Diablo for a while, but at the end of the day, you guys don't like Diablo on mobile. I think it's going to be kind of fun. It's just not what people wanted to see announced. Man, they're going to like announce Diablo 4 next year, and like everyone's going to be happy. Like, God, like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, they made a mobile game. Maybe you don't like it. Do you need to be stupidly mad? Should they have announced Diablo 4 when it's not ready? Like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Reaper here. I'm just following this Reaper because I'm currently unpacking posters to see which ones are here. I'm just going to unpack this one else. Then I'll stop, I promise. Ah! Okay, I just used a poster and now my phone went flying across the room. That was actually kind of amazing how I managed to do that. Oh, this is the Hearthstone poster. The Hearthstone poster is pretty cool. Yeah. Hearthstone's poster is pretty cool too. I'm not sure if it makes the wall though. I got a Tychus poster. That's definitely going up on the wall. I think it's time to get rid of... I don't know. I kind of like the poster I have. Maybe we get rid of Jaina. I don't know, man. It's tough. It's tough. Anyways, let's watch this game. First 2.5 minutes of the TVZ hasn't been too ridiculous. I mean, I can get the negative feedback about like Diablo, like the Diablo Immortal or whatever. I just think there's like, I don't know what to say. This is old patch, guys. These games are replays. Just finishing off this tournament that we didn't cast before I went away on my travels. Before we have some brand new content coming up next week. Couple Hellions running across, Zerglin being chased away. Let me just continue to get this going here as we see Liberate on the way out. I mean, Overlord's just going to scout in to try and see what's going on. One Parasite, which in general is a... yeah, in general it's an interesting little situation that we have going on, I suppose. Couple Hellions coming out from TY here. Liberate on the way. Parasite's a tough map for Terran, I feel. I always say this, like, it makes it through into a lot of TVZs, and obviously in this clan war it's like the final map available, so there wasn't much choice for TY, but it's a tough map because it is large. It is easy for the Zerg to take a lot of bases on, to spread creep on multiple pathways. It's going to be a tough game, this one. It's going to be a real tough game. Hellion's coming down the right-hand side, and we are going to be seeing, again, a couple of creep tumors here. Should be picked away at. Liberator coming down as well. Going to get ready to, well, siege up. But look at that. Solar's Spore Crawler finishes up right on time. Remember that the earlier game that TY won against Solar was with that 2 racks open, and that did a lot of damage, and really the Hellion attack after that, the Hellbat attack after that, really just ended the game then and there. So this one already looking to be a bit different. Yes, this is 10 workers going down, and maybe more actually. Now 12. Oh my god, that final shot of drones. Only 1 more goes down. 13 workers killed. Liberator is still around to get a bit more done as well. I mean, it's nice harassment by TY, but it's a larger map, and so it's going to be difficult to capitalize on advantages like this. And this was a lot of Hellions as well. I mean, we're talking about 8 Hellions and a Liberator dying for 15 drones. Yes, it's a good trade for the Terran, but it's not devastating for the Zerg because he's still in a good worker count. And the Terran now has no map control, there's no units to worry about, so the Zerg can just go insanely hard on unit production, on drone production, sorry. They can just really focus on economy, and without anything else to worry about, this is looking fantastic for Solar, just to move onwards from. So yes, it's not nice to lose 15 drones, it's better to kill those Hellions without losing anything, but at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world either. And if you're seeing creep spread, just pushing up the right-hand side of the map right now, so Solar just getting all those creep tumors going, just going to be pushing up the right, and again, just spreading that out, seeing what he can get done. Creep going all over the place at the moment, so Creep just continue to get set up. +1 attack, +1 armor currently on the way through still as well. Combat shields also dropping down in that main base, that tech lab on the barracks. About to be done here as we do see a couple more supply depots just dropping down from TY. Going to be seeing the Spire coming in from Solar in the natural expansion, so again, that ready to go. And those Zerglings are just going to be setting up with the Banelings as well, Queens too. And we do see those Lings going to continue up the right-hand side. And again, just some map control being established. Honestly, at this stage of the game, Solar looks great, right? I mean, the creepers going in all different directions. There's at least like a screen of creep spread between each base of Solar and kind of, you know, where the creep spread ends, right? And so that really means he's very safe from the majority of pushes here. All that creep going in different directions. This is where obviously TY will start to try and deny this, and forces to cancel there. Will be forced to scan to get rid of these active tumors, but Lings and Queens come in position, and TY will be pushed back without getting rid of any active tumors. He gets the Queen with energy on it though, which is a nice pick up. And that was just a little mistake there from Solar being a bit too active, but he will now respread that creep and keep that moving forward. So TY slows it a little bit, but not much more. Gets out of there with that medevac just about alive, and just cleaning up some Zerglings here and there on the map at the moment as well, doing the best he can as Combat Shields completes. Mutalisk on the way from Solar. Again, a nice large map, so a good map to use Mutalisk on because you can move around the map in a few different ways. You can definitely attack in with the Mutas, then back away and look at, you know, a different way of doing things, for example. As we do see, Lings are going to come in through the top right-hand side. They're going to be approaching this natural expansion in the next couple of moments. This command center here, about 75% of the way done, but, I mean, you know, a single SCV goes down, that's about it. Not really much, the Lings going down. It's not the end of the world. Nice little delay on the CC, but nothing for TY to be too sad about. What's up, Slight Talent, coming in with a 3-month resub. How are you doing? Thank you so much for the 3 months. I really do appreciate the 3-month resub, dude. And welcome back for yet another month of fun and games on the StarCraft channel here on WardiTV. Appreciate it. Couple of SCVs going down as Mutas do come in for the first time. Missile turrets were not yet prepared. There is Marines and Medevacs being transferred between bases to help defend, but you'd imagine a 4 or so will come up very shortly too. Right now the Widow Mines are on the way out of the factory, and Widow Mines are definitely a better setup to have against Lingbane Muta than against Lingbane Hydra, for example, where you usually would want siege tanks. Boom! 3 Mutas going down, no mistake by Solar. He is continuing to build up Mutas, so losing a few of them right there, that is very painful. And that's just a loss from Solar, and TY will be nodding to himself with that one, being like, hell yeah, that was, you know, that was something that feels kind of nice. So that's a real feel-good moment for him. I wonder if he actually makes a 4 just yet, or if he'll hold off, because there is that real possibility. Okay, he will still go for the 4. There's that real possibility, but it's just like, well, I killed 3 of them, and maybe if he doesn't make it anymore, the Mutas are now nowhere near as much of a threat. But that's not the case, because there is more Mutalisks on the way out, and that's going to be very important to keep in mind here. As we do see Ling's Banes gathering in the center, and Overseer starting to move out over towards the right-hand side. Another few Mutas gathering up as well. Mutalisks from Solar just hanging around, coming forwards. That few Marine force will come in, and they'll be able to chase those Mutas away again. Continuing down the right-hand side, pushing those Mutas back as well. Medevac loads up a few Marines, and there go the Mutas chasing that Medevac, which will just escape up to the top. A little bit of bio will start a fight here. Siege Tank firing away, getting rid of a few Zerglings. A couple of Widow Mines going off as well. One tank picked off there on the top side. This Bio continuing to push forwards, and the Lings continue to drop on down. Good cleanup though by TY, who on 2-2 upgrades had a very good fight for himself, but needs to get going with 3-3. Keep that momentum of upgrade advantage in your favor. Create more opportunities later in this game to keep that advantage. Scans forwards, and we'll get a few creep timbers. There's the 3-3 starting up. We'll see how quick Solar is with his own 3-3. He's already started up recently Ultra Cavern, Adrenal Glands, and +1 Flyer Carapace, so it might be tough for him to be able to afford it right away. But he generally wants to get there as soon as possible, as this 5th base is slowed down, and so is this base here. But the actual base on the 4th is going to be kept alive. And actually, neither of the CCs were killed. The SCVs building them were just stopped for a moment, as a Widow Miner 2 having to lead this charge forward. Some creep teamers still going down in the forward positions, and I mean, the creep is over the halfway marker at points on the map, so it is important for TY to keep trying to push this back. Those Banes went down without really killing anything there. There's a few Marauders still leading the charge to try and soak up Banelings. A drop to the bottom side now as we see some Lings in trouble. A lot of them going down, and actually will keep going down as this Medevac healing away. Doing a great job over here. Look at this. These Lings, they finally break through, but it took a long time. That's a lot of Lings killed off then. It's really giving TY a chance to keep pushing down the right side. Widow Mines need to spread it away for a moment or two. Widow Mines going to keep on going off. Lings, Banes still trying to press further forwards here. Now the Bio backing off once again. And going to keep on pushing down the right side. Another Widow Mine Burrows, Drilling Claws. Really very valuable at this stage of the game if you're playing a Widow Mine base comp, because of the speed at which you can position and relocate Widow Mines. Nice pull back to the Marines again, just leaving that one Marauder in the front on the counter-attack. The Mutas come in. They've denied this base one more time. Just a few Marines needed to try and keep this alive. It's going to be close, but the Lings coming in as well. We'll probably get the cancel on this here in the last seconds of this CC's production. TY cancels. Widow Mines blow up Marines and Lings, not caring which they hit. But they do clean up the majority of what's on the ground. A 4 here, a little bit stuck on this tech lab. That'll be killed off, so their 4 will be freed. And this army's going to back away towards the top side as well. Maybe we're hoping to catch the Mutas, but the Mutas head to the south, and they will not be cornered in by any form of this Bio army. A few more scans, a few more Marines moving around the map here. We do have this little bit of a unit heading off to the left side now. So Mutas is heading off over to the left-hand side. And we do also have, up the right, Lings, Banes, and Ultralisks all moving around. Finally, the Ultras on the map, the first time we're seeing those. They're not really super powerful just yet. Give them another minute, not just for Chitinous Plane to finish, but for the free upgrades as well, because the Terran free upgrades are just moments away here. So, give it a minute or so, these Ultras will hit their full potential. I just really feel Solar has the basis and the map control to not just play Ling Bane Ultra here, but to also move in towards Broodlords. And that's the hive tech that really starts to become a big issue for Terran players. As whoa, those rocks got dropped though, and the Mutas just flew overhead. The Marines made short work of those. And well, that's the last few Mutas of Solar pretty much gone. Now there's 4 remaining, and they're already bruised and battered. Don't expect those Mutas to be remade anytime soon. There's not much need for them. If anything, Corrupt is on the way out, because obviously Corruptors are very good at dealing with Liberators as well. And Liberators are a big production kind of unit here that will probably be made to help deal with the Terran army as it goes up against this Ultralist base style. Bio on the right hand side, but just a few Medevacs worth that can lift up and get out of there at a moment's notice. Widow Mine and Burrows as well. Re-Burrows, as the Ultras come in, is probably time to, I mean, I guess he's off creep, so you can kind of kite away. The Widow Mine goes off, gets a few more Lings, and he will just boost back to the rest of the army, which is setting up now on this 5th base, which should be getting ready to go in towards a planetary fortress, just because it is a forward base, and it will be used defensively here, time after time usually. Even if it isn't used defensively, as a planetary fortress, it will deter attacks into this position. As see Widow Mine just burrowing down. Oh my god, it's actually going to go off on the Mutalisks! A couple more Widow Mines dropping, but the Banes make short work of them. In general, this attack down the left side will not do a lot, and even this Ultralisk has to turn away. Now, of course, we're at this stage of the game as Liberators come out, where you also expect, well, maybe the Ghosts to make a bit of an appearance here. Where are those Ghosts, right? I mean, what can they get up to? They can get a lot done. Although right now, we're not really seeing all too much. More Lings, more Banes on the way through at the moment. Solar, a lot more Banelings on the way out, and they're going to be heading over to the right-hand side. A lot of creep spread going to get set up over there in the next few moments. We still see pushing down the right TY with a ton of units getting ready to go. And here we go, as you do see a couple of Ultras backing away. Bio pushing forwards, and a couple of Banes about to finish up. And there we go, backing away just a little bit. These Ultras are in some real trouble. Couple going down the left-hand side. Lings are just continuing to push on forwards, and the Ultralisk is also just going to keep on coming through here. Yeah, Siege Tank went down. I mean, it's the right sort of idea, right? As Solar loses some workers around the map as this drop goes on. Another action. We also have run-bys, which are getting rid of SCVs. So TY also taking hits to his economy. This has really turned into one of those epic clashes of TVZ. 5 base Terran, 6, 7, 8 base Zerg. Can't even keep count. Who knows how many bases he has, as TY's mass expanding as well. It's one of those games which is really going to go along. And you're going to see these guys rip each other apart. They're going to go from this very high, comfortable worker count way, way, way down to a kind of very scrappy number of workers, because that's just how these games tend to go. Already 64 to 74 workers. It's a little bit less than what you'd expect. I mean, Solo already has a bit of a bank to work with as double 4 finishes off that final Mutalisk in the game that was still somehow just flying around here, having a little bit of fun. Couple of Lings up to the top, trying to see what they can do. There's an SCV that can be picked away at pretty quickly. Oh my god, Adrenal Gland Zerglings attack so fast. Look at it go, man! You ever stopped and looked at an Adrenal Gland Ling and it attacks so fast it barely even knows how to move its body. Like, it's barely even dropped back from one attack before it's going once again, you know? Crazy. Ling is coming forwards here as we see the Planetary Fortress is going to be under attack as we see SCVs. Not going to be pulled in just yet. Bio already here to turn it away. Very Marauder heavy, obviously, to help against those Ultras. The Liberator count must be building up. Okay, well, yeah, it has been. Already 9 Liberators just sat overhead. We see 36 more Zerglings of Solar on the way out as well. To the left-hand side, this bunker gets taken down. A couple of Marines fighting as well. This Ultra is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Marauder is able to help get that kill. Again, Lings, Banes, and Ultras running down the right, trying to get away. To the left-hand side, we've got a hatchery, which has just been online for a little while, but hasn't really done much. There's the 7th base of Solar here. The 6th base being off to this right side. So these are the 2 bases that are on the map for the Zerg that the Terran hasn't acquired for themselves just yet. TY, at some stage, will want to move towards them. As a 5-base Terran, you're pretty comfortable for a good amount of time in the game, but you do at some stage still have to think about potentially moving towards those extra bases as time passes by here now. A little bit of bio gathering together. That 4 is a little bit stuck in between these units. Full position there, messing that up as you see Lings are going to run on through the left-hand side as well. Starting to break through just a little bit now as you see more Lings going down. They're going to jump on that siege tank as well. That gets taken down also. On the far left, we see these Marines going to stem forwards, and they are going to work their way through this hatchery. Some more Zerglings also coming through here, and they are going to get picked away at, as those Lings will now finally start going down for real. So Lings will continue to drop, and we are going to be seeing the couple extra mules just getting dropped down as well. That's rapid fire launches on the Cyclones, so actually going to go into a Cyclone-based defense against... I mean, I guess the Cyclones are good against Sniping Vipers. Against Broodlords, questionable though, and so I'm intrigued to see just how TY looks to use them here. Cyclones are something which you see maybe, you know, like a mech player goes into late game, he's like, okay, well, I'm going to build Cyclones up against, you know, later game kind of air competitions. They're not terrible. They're also not the best, which is why I'm surprised we're seeing the upgrade being built here for a bio-based player, where you generally just expect kind of like Vikings and so on, and Ravens to be the answer. Anyways, let's see how it goes. For now, we see Solo moving around. Overseers in the center of the map. Command centers spreading themselves out, deciding where they want to land. Lings and Ultra coming up the left-hand side here from Solo, looking to try and jump on this army. A few Lings going down here. Banelin's getting picked up. So a few Banes going down. An Orbital Command starting to morph in once again. A few more Corruptors here from Solo just gathering together. And we do have the Lings, the Banes, and the Ultralisks all setting up in the middle of the map. A few of these units going off to the right-hand side. Corruptors still also sat overhead, and we also still see more Zerglings coming up the right side too. Raven on the way out from TY, plus 3 ship weapons coming in from TY as well. Plus 3 flyer attack from Solar on the way up on the Greater Spire, and we also see 6 missile turrets. 16 more Banelings currently morphing on in here as we see an Ultralisk coming through this top side, leading the charge towards this set of structures. On the far left, we see Lings, Banes, and Ultra and Corruptors getting ready to push forwards too, and here we go. Bio already stimming in. A few Corruptor-Lings going down. There's the Banes blowing up a whole bunch of stuff. This Planetary Fortress is going to be repaired by the last 3 SCVs, and I think they've got enough to keep it alive against this Ultralisk. Not quite. Yeah, actually, this will go down if it isn't seen to in the next few moments. This Ultralisk, that's actually going to get the kill right here. Liberator Siege is up, but too late. I guess you can replace it with an Orbital, but then there's no Planetary Fortress, right? And that is kind of a big deal. Planetary Fortress really is a stronghold of defense for a Terran player. A couple of Widowmines going off here, an Ultra and a few Lings taking some damage. Liberate Shock kills that Ultralisk. for now will defend, but lost a couple of Widow Mines in doing so. Both Solar and TY have a decent bank. TY's gas bank is a little low as he starts to add some ghosts into play, but he has established a far left-hand side base, which is going to be a big help to him. These Lings just run into Bio center around the right side, something which Solar will have to pay attention to, because if that Bio continues down the right-hand side, he would end up pushing in towards a... well, he'd end up pushing in towards this base, and that just wouldn't really work all too well. Wouldn't be the best situations. A couple of Widow Mines still going off here, as you see Lings and Banes going in. Another Widow Mine getting picked off, and we do see 6 more drones being picked away at now. Thank you so much, Moku, for the 35-month resub. 35 days, that's more than a month of days. Wow, incredible. Thank you so much for 35 days of subscribing, dude. Appreciate it. Can we get some love in the chat for Moku for the 35-month resub, as we see Lings, Banes, and Ultras coming in once again. We will just see those units having to lift up right there. And backing away through the top side. I mean, those orbital commands just lifting up right away. We do see the changelings are going to try and cause a little bit of a nuisance here somewhere along the way, and that's just going to take TY a moment or two to target those down. Army of Solar backing away now. We're 21 minutes in this TVZ. No end in sight, though a bunch of Broodlords have just been morphed in, and I do in general kind of feel, he actually cancels a few, maybe feels he wants a few more Corruptors kept in this, but I feel like we're heading towards an end game for Solar that TY does not have an answer for. I mean, yes, there's 11 Liberators up and there's a Raven, but with 8 Corruptors and 6 more about to spawn, Vipers as well, I just don't know where TY's really going with his air army. Like, is it going to be enough? Well, he's going to start building up these battle cruisers. So he's trying to build up these battle cruisers, see what he can do with these. A scan on top of this army as well. Ling Bane and the Ultra are going to be seen. A few more battle cruisers just about to pop. As we have this army coming around the right side. A couple of Widow Mines will go off here. Actually splashes onto the 4. Probably does more damage than they did against those Lings. There we go. Broodlings pushing in. I think this is where TY is really going to be tested for the first time in this game. I mean, yes, this game's been a test. It's been back and forth. But this is where he's really going to be pushed into a position where, does he have an answer? And I really feel like the answer currently is no. He does not have an answer. Well, Broodlord's coming forwards, and missile turrets initially being pushed back. Spore Crawlers have come forwards as well. Anti-armor missiles on the Broods, great. But where's the follow-up? Where's all the damage actually going out to these Broodlords from? Do the Liberators and Siege push in? Well, no. Anti-armor missiles on the Broods are great, but then how do you deal with the Corruptors? Well, more battle cruisers on the way. Rep and refit upgrade coming in as well. That Yamato cannon going to be enabled for those battle cruisers very shortly here, as that's going to be another orbital command picked off. Broodlings still pushing forwards. These Lings continuing to push in, and you get, I mean, just more and more SCVs disappearing at the moment. These SCVs keep on going down to the right-hand side. The Bio keeps pushing along. And these Widow Mines are probably going to want to unburrow and see what they can do. And we do just have this hatchery in a little bit of trouble. It will fall down. So hatchery drops. A few Broodlings run in towards this little bit of a Bio group of units here. So those Broodlings getting cleaned out, and again a little bit of damage being done left and right. This base got pit taken down, 14 SCVs killed. We're now on a 40 worker economy from TY. I said this was going to get down a scrappy amount of workers, but it seems that that's only true for one side of this. Solar keeping very solid on a 67 drone count, with a bank in tow as well. TY just was never really able to keep up the harassment like we kind of need him to if he wants a chance in this game, and that's why he started to really fall apart here, as well as these Broodlords up in the skies are just unanswerable at the moment. And the thing is, Solar can rebuild some of these too. He has that sort of money available to him, and that's where this really kind of becomes a little bit terrifying, maybe even. I see SCVs, they're going to move around to start mining away from this set of mineral patches on the right side. Orbital command will land down. Going to see a couple mules dropping in. Sensor tower drops into play as well. 20 more Zerglings on the way up, and we are going to be seeing Corruptors, Broodlords, all the rest of it pushing forward. Some spores can keep on pressing forwards too. I mean, some drones have just been going down. This Liberator's had a good time here. It's got 12 kills as it goes down to these Corruptors, but it kind of feels like he needed that a lot more throughout this game up until now. And yes, there's been signs of it, but I mean, if you look at the units lost tab, 47 drones is a good amount, but it kind of feels like it could have been so much more, considering he killed 15 or so very early in the game, and he just killed 8 now. It means that until that Liberator, I mean, he'd killed, what, like 20 workers throughout this game? Yeah, it just needed to be more. It needed to be something to slow Solar down, and now Solar is truly starting to overrun here as we see battle cruisers and Liberators pushing forwards. And here we go. I mean, Anti-armor missile hits onto the Broods. Are the battle cruisers going to be the answer we need? See the bio on the right-hand side will get rid of that Ultralisk, and well, actually, it's fighting pretty well here. Here we go. The Yamato cannons will start to go down. The issue is, again, the Broodlords are the ones that have the anti-armor missile on them, and maybe that allows the Liberators to get something done here, but imagine the Corruptors had the lesser armor on them. This would be a much easier fight for TY. He's pushing in towards Spore Crawlers that he can't do anything about. His battle cruiser count reduced to a single battle cruiser on the front line. There was 1 or 2 in the back that got away or just weren't part of this fight to begin with. I mean, now TY's economy is absolutely drained. His bank is non-existent. I mean, he needs to try and set up these bases. He's losing out on money right now as he mines it because he's repairing up these battle cruisers. Lings are going to hit the left-hand side. This base is unprotected. These SUVs are in trouble. And Solar has just been non-stop with this all the way throughout so far. Surrounds this refinery. That will fall. This truly is looking as though it's moments away from being over, as we usually just Broods, Corruptors, everything just setting up overhead right now to keep on pushing forwards. Things going to continue forwards, and a couple of Ghost Academies are being picked off as well. This depot to the side gets picked off also. This Tech Lab also going to take some hits. And you're just going to be seen again. Surrounding this factory, this fusion core going down. Everything just going to keep on pushing forwards here. Still pushing on the right side of the main army as well. And these Corruptors, they really have no issue against those Liberators. GG Solar. Dark and Stat will advance with a 4-3 victory over the 94 fam. T-Rai, Rogue, and Dia are eliminated from the Team League. And that is the Slenders and